What up, ladies and gentlemen, and it's Premier League time here with our crew, Alexandra Road to Glory series. Welcome to episode 31 of the series today. Now, as promised, there was always that comment that seemed to be propping up about Donis. I said I would go and make a move for him in the first window of our Premier League. However, he's now 80 rated, and he's worth a bit more than I expected. I only had £8 million to spend, so I tried to make a swap deal happen. I offered them Kinsella. I knew they wasn't going to accept just the player, but I was hoping it was going to be Kinsella, maybe like £8 million or something. That would take it to around 15.5, and that would be just underneath his value. But they want Kinsella plus 19. So at the moment, there is absolutely no way that I can make that Donny's transfer happen. He's worth too much money, and we just can't happen. It just won't happen for us. So I went ahead basically, and I listed up quite a few players that I wasn't interested in keeping in my squad. And in today's episode, I'm actually not going to make any signings, and I'll explain why in a moment. We do still have the transfer window left, but I'll explain it when we get towards the later part. So we're going to be seeing a lot of departures. We are also going to be seeing 3 Premier League games, and I will leave the episode off as we get into deadline day of our first transfer window in the Premier League, which is why I'm going to be leaving it there. Is because I need your help, basically. I know, obviously, I wanted to sign Donis, but it looks like that's not going to happen unless I miraculously get another £10-15 million into the club. Even with the sales of the guys that I've transfer listed, I don't think that's going to happen. And so, I need your opinions on where you think we're going to be weakest this season. Because, of course, whatever you guys tell me what you think is going to be weak point, will it be defensively? Is it going to be our midfield? Do you think we're going to lack goals in the side? Do you think we need a better goalkeeper? That is what I need your guys' opinion of, because deadline day, when I leave the episode off today, is going to be the final time that I will have chances to sign any players. So I want you guys to look at the 3 games we play in today's episode and make a decision on what you think we need to strengthen. Not saying that we are definitely going to make any signings before the end of the window, but let me know what you guys think anyways. In terms of signings, there is going to be a couple, but there won't be actually money tree signings. There'll be 2 maybe youth players here. You can see from the free agents, I delegated my assistant manager to sign Windass, which is an English goalkeeper, and then some Brazilian CDM that I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of. So he came back to us in a couple of days after I actually tried to get him to make the signings happen. In the end, we got an offer for Greg Lee, which he was actually a hotly contested man during this transfer window. I went ahead and declined pretty much every offer, though, because I wanted to keep him at the club. So we get the offers back that I told my assistant manager to do. The Cesario, the Brazilian CDM, decides to accept it. But Windass wasn't happy with the contract that he was offered. And I decided, you know what? We've already got Hill. We've already got, Green. We don't need another, English goalkeeper. So forget about him. Doesn't matter. So I was looking through some of the other players that I potentially could have brought in. And then I came across Anwar El Ghazi. Now, if you've been on the channel from last year, you will know I absolutely love the young Dutchman. He is sensational. He was brilliant for me in FIFA 17. And what a story it could be to potentially bring him back for FIFA 18 in this series. But of course, can't really focus on that because I need to see what we need to do in terms of transfers itself. So going into our debut game of the Premier League season, I was feeling pretty confident. We were taking on Newcastle. We had the home advantage for this one as well. The side itself, it's decent. You'll see it as it pops up on the screen. But as I said, keep a close eye on these games, guys, and let me know what you think we need to strengthen in regards to maybe making a signing or 2 between now and that transfer deadline day ending. So for the side of Newcastle, they had a few very decent players. Vieto up top is a solid shout for a young striker in this game. Got a nice potential. He's decent as well. But my only objective for this was to just kind of grow into the game, see what Premier League life was going to be about in our first game, and see if we could cope with Newcastle. Because if we could, it means that I'll be looking potentially at a chance to stay up this season. And I just felt pretty confident overall that my boys, playing what I would call our strongest lineup, were going to do the job. So as the game got underway, we had the first chance. 24 minutes in, Brereton finding Reece Nelson. He gets through to be able to take the strike on, but it's a good save from the Newcastle keeper. As Gamero follows up on the volley, can't make anything happen. The former Atletico Madrid man now currently playing his trade with newly promoted crew Alexandra. It's going to be interesting to see how Gamero gets on this season for us. But somebody who I'm intrigued as well in is Aaron Tushulaba. Probably butchered that. In the centre of our midfield, 6'3", signed from Aston Villa on a pre-contract. He is going to be a midfield machine for us this season. And I really want to see how he's going to play. Because if you remember when we started off our Huddersfield Town one, we had a player in the centre of our midfield there who we pretty much signed for £7.7 million. It was pretty much nobody, and he turned out to be like Aaron N'Golo Kante. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if Aaron can do a similar type of job. But at this point, we were 70 minutes into the game, still 0-0. I made 3 changes, trying to make something happen. We even gave a Premier League debut to Martin. And in the end, we just could not find a breakthrough in the game. But it was a good performance. We kept Newcastle very quiet. We created chances. We just needed to score one of them, and maybe it would have been a different story. So for the first game in the Premier League, I didn't think that was too bad. We did what we needed to do, as I said. Match facts-wise, kept them to 1 shot, and we were able to create chances as well. So at least we did something in the game. But of course, not getting the goal, slightly disappointing. It would have been nice to sneak a 1-0 victory. But still, at least we didn't lose our opening Premier League game, and that's something to be happy about. The other results, though, Everton surprisingly beating Manchester United by 2-0, which I wasn't too convinced, let's call it, by Manchester United. I'm 100% not convinced, or I'm not 100% convinced by many teams that I come up against in career mode when you're playing in some Premier League opposition, because sometimes the big boys in the league, they don't feature the best side possible, and they are made to pay for it. So I'm hoping we're going to have that luck this season. You know, the likes of Man City, Liverpool down the line when we come against them won't feature their full strength side and will give us a little bit of a chance, but maybe not either. But again, the next game we played, this one against Bournemouth, it's another tough game. They've made some incredible signings. They've got Gabriel Barbosa in their side now, and he's a solid choice for a striker, again, very much like Vieto is. And they've got a decent squad here, Bournemouth, so I was slightly worried heading into this one that if we couldn't find a breakthrough, maybe I wouldn't be so lucky to be able to keep them as quiet as I did with Newcastle. And as the game got underway, boy, was I wrong. 9 minutes in, Aaron picks up the ball, finds Gamero to Luciano Acosta, back to Gamero, plays it into Ben Brereton, who fake shots his way past Ake, holds him off, can't quite find the back of the net with it though. It's blocked well, the rebound though falls to Acosta, and his strike came back off the post sadly. So yeah, I was so gutted that one wasn't 1-0. But then again, nice move. Nelson finding Gamero. Nobody picks up Ben Brereton. He's allowed to go straight through the heart of the defence. And the Championship top scorer from last season is the man that scores Crew's first Premier League goal. 22 minutes into their second game. And their top scorer of last season gets them underway here at the Vitality Stadium. The question mark remains, what on earth is Ake doing allowing Ben Brereton to just run straight through that Bournemouth defence? He's much better defender than that, and that suggested. But a fantastic finish nonetheless from Ben Brereton. Agonising for Bournemouth because they thought that maybe their keeper could have done a little bit more, but it's just so tough to try and get down to a strike like that. It really is good when he can keep it along the floor. So difficult for goalkeepers to get down to be able to make the save. But Bournemouth, I didn't expect them to stay quiet, but then they gave the ball away to Reece Nelson. We eventually find our way through to Ben Brereton, playing another 1-2 with Gamero. Ake does what he needs to do in holding him up, but he leaves his legs completely open. Brereton just smashes it through the middle of them and into the top corner. And within a matter of minutes, Ben Brereton has given Crew a 2-0 lead. It was a hit and hope in many ways from Ben Brereton. I don't think he expected this one to go in the back of the net. And it was tough as well again for the goalkeeper because he maybe thought Ake would have taken a deflection on that one or possibly blocked it, but it goes through the defender's legs, and that is the reason why it beats the Bournemouth goalkeeper. So Bournemouth, with all the job to do now at 2-0 down, they needed to create something. They got a chance. Gabriel Barbosa narrowly missing the target with a minute left to play in this first half. I genuinely thought he got them back in this game. Didn't help us in the second half because Bournemouth took the game to us. I don't know what Eddie Howe said at half-time. Whatever it was worked because Bournemouth came out like a different team. Barbosa again with another chance for the home side to try and get themselves back in this one. And it just didn't stop. There was an onslaught of Bournemouth attacks. On the left-hand side, Ake playing it nice with Mings. The header is won in the middle by us from Flint, but it falls straight to a Bournemouth man again whose shot is well caught by Green. Tried to get the game back underway very quickly. In the end, I did it a little bit too quickly. Phillips finding Gamero, looks to try and make the pass happen, gives it away. And one ball over the top from Bournemouth. We make the mistake. Ake wins the header. Gabriel Barbosa's in. And but for the post, we are still 2-0 up in this game. If that had gone in, it was game on. Bournemouth really were threatening, but it didn't stop because, again, from exactly the same highlight, Brereton using his strength, looking potentially for a hat-trick, tries to beat Begovic down with another driven shot, can't do it this time, and a mixture of Cook and Begovic stops Gamero's rebound from finding the back of the net. But after 90 minutes of football at the Vitality Stadium, Crew Alexandra came away with their first Premier League victory, courtesy of 2 Ben Brereton strikes. This one from Barbosa, though, had it have gone in, would have made it a very nervous last 6 minutes of this game. Luckily, it didn't, and luckily we came away with the 3 points. But I tell you what a strike from Ben Brereton for his second of the afternoon. It was very much a hit and hope, as I said. When I picked up the ball, I was not sure whether or not he was going to be able to shoot that and score, or if he was just going to smash it straight against Ake, or what was going to happen. But luckily, it went through his legs, made it 2-0, and just like that, we picked up a victory. Again, though, United, 2-2 draw at home with Stoke, so not ideal for Manchester United. Not a great way to start this Premier League campaign off. We had a game against Cardiff in the Carabao Cup. Going to be simming this one, probably not playing it just yet. I don't feel like I have the time to be able to invest and have a good enough squad to win the competition, so there's no real point in me going all out to win it yet. I want to get a bit more squad depth before we try and make a move for the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Maybe I might try the Carabao Cup this season. If we get to like the quarter-final and we're still in it, then maybe I'll go and try and play our strongest team in order to get through. But for now, as early as it is, I'm not worrying about it just yet. But interestingly enough, we had a couple of offers. Hakib gets an offer here from Middlesbrough, which I turned down. And stupidly, I don't know what Palermo are thinking. Were we really going to let Ben Brereton go on loan for a year to Palermo? Have your head a check, whoever that is who's coming with that offer, because that's ridiculous. Of course I wasn't prepared to let that happen. Now, when I was speaking about the top teams, maybe not giving us the respect we deserve, and I said it about the fact that Liverpool do it sometimes, Manchester City with their team picks, I came up against Arsenal here. Let me say this. They lacked respect. They were coming to Crew, who were off the back of a point against Newcastle and a 2-0 win at the Vitality Stadium. Not exactly a convincing 2-0 win, because we did give away chances. But, having said that, the team that Arsenal name here, I personally feel that they've disrespected us. Take a look at their lineup and then take a look at their subs bench. Pause it when the lineup comes up and you'll be able to see the full lineup. So our lineup is pretty much the same that we were going with for the first 2 games. Gamero, Brereton up top, midfield 4, back 4. The Arsenal lineup, the goalkeeper's good, back 4, midfield 2, midfield 3, the striker Welbeck, not terrible. But on the bench, they had Lacazette, Goretzka, 2 quality players just sat on the bench for some reason, not actually starting the game. So when Ben Brereton scored in the first kind of few minutes of this one, I took that as, there you go. That's what you get. If you're going to disrespect us and come to our ground and not name your strongest 11, I don't know if it was through injuries, I don't know if it was through fitness, but that really hurt me. I was looking at this game and I genuinely thought, listen, that is disrespectful. To come to Crew, not naming your strongest 11, thinking that you still might get a victory, you can't do that because we're going to make you pay for it. So Ben Brereton scores the opener here. I sound so harsh, don't I? But I'm actually an Arsenal fan, so this is going to kind of hurt me a bit more as well if we win this game. But never mind. You know, it is what it is. They picked the team. They didn't want to lose this game. They should have picked their strongest 11. But then Takuma Asano, who for some reason in FIFA, I don't know what it is about him, I just can't stop him scoring. And he makes it 1-1. I had this problem in FIFA 17 with Takuma Asano. He literally turns into Arsenal's main man and scores goals for fun. I genuinely don't get it. So when they made it 1-1 inside 15 minutes, that made me think maybe they didn't disrespect me as much as I first thought. Maybe I took it to heart a little bit too much. Maybe they have got a good enough squad to be able to beat us with the side they've named. Possibly I shouldn't have, you know, kind of had the same reaction that I did at the start of the game when it got underway, because I just made myself look silly with the aspect that now they've scored the equaliser straight away and it's been one chance for both teams and we both scored. So maybe they didn't disrespect us. But then Crew picked the ball up. 42nd minute in, Reece Nelson finds Acosta. Brereton makes a great run. Gamero feeds him through. There is Ben Brereton. 2 goals last time out against Bournemouth. 2 goals this time around at home to Arsenal. He's got bags of quality in front of goal. He scored something crazy like 28, 29 goals last season in the Championship. This year, he's already got 4 in his first 3 of the Premier League. Not great goalkeeping again, but it's so difficult, as I've said, when you keep them low on the ground. The keepers struggle to get down to them. And Borman very nearly gets a strong hand to it, just can't keep it out from Ben Brereton. Wenger disheartened, but Crew back into the lead at 2-1. Can they keep it this time, though? That's going to be the question mark. Into the second half, Gamero finding Aaron. Aaron back to Gamero. He's got Brereton making the run. Straight through. Ben Brereton. Crew take a third goal in the game. Genuinely didn't know what to say at this point. I was sat there thinking to myself, we're actually going to do this. We are going to smash Arsenal at home in just our third Premier League game of our lives. Ben Brereton needs to take a massive bow for this, though. The hat-trick goal there. The thing is, Bowman, I don't think he can do too much about that. Brereton took it very early. It sat up perfectly for him as well with just a little bounce ahead of it. There's not too much the Arsenal man could have done to stop that one. But defensively, they look so shaky. And at this point, they went on to pretty much ultra-attacking. Not good enough, because you're not going to give us the respect again by doing that. We were already 3-1 up, proving we could score. Just so happens, Reece Nelson wanted to pop up with one himself against his former club to make the score 4-1 to Crew. The driven shots, man, they are so effective in this game. However, at this point, I quickly realised we shouldn't really be beating Arsenal by 4-1. So, I devised a plan. I started playing around with the sliders a little bit, making it a bit more harder. I'll show you it in the last bit of today's episode, and you can have like a little say on what you think we should set the sliders to make this like as realistic as possible. Because of course, Crew coming up, they will win games against teams that maybe they shouldn't do, but ultimately, winning 4-1 at home against Arsenal shouldn't be the way it goes. And Ben Brereton makes it 5. And I genuinely was sat here gobsmacked. I didn't know what to say. We've got 12 minutes left of normal time. Look at the top right corner. Crew Alexandra 5, Arsenal 1. We drew 0-0 with Newcastle on day 1, having not really created that much. We won 2-0 against Bournemouth, having given them chances. And now the next game, at home, we're winning 5-1 against Arsenal, Ben Brereton scoring 4. I just couldn't cope anymore. But then, 3 minutes to go, he got his 5th. He got a 5th goal. Ben Brereton scored 5 on the day to make him 7 league goals in 3 Premier League appearances. Like, I genuinely am speechless. This guy, his finishing is quality. Genuinely quality. But of course, as I said, in terms of the actual game itself, we possibly shouldn't be smashing Arsenal by 6-1. If this was 2-1, fair enough, you know. We win games like that sometimes, but at this point I was like, okay, we probably are going to have to play around with sliders, because I don't want to repeat of Huddersfield where we win with not a Premier League winning side. Of course, Leicester kind of did it, but they had 2 very informed players. So yeah, I was looking at this thinking possibly have to play with some sliders. So after that, I went ahead and switched them around. I set the CPU to 35 for the shot error and the pass error. So basically, they make less errors in their passing. In return, creating more chances. And in return, basically, you know, obviously getting more shots on target. I then moved their run frequency up to 65 as well, so they make more runs off the ball. And I also moved the goalkeeper ability up to 65 as well, so that we wouldn't score, basically, 6 goals from 6 shots every game. So, yeah, pretty much that's what I'm going to be going with for next episode. I'll probably make it harder if it's still going the same. But after the first 3 games have been played, I was genuinely over the moon with the way we started. Which means we now go on to the next point. What should we do to strengthen? Of those 3 games, forgetting about the Arsenal one for a minute because that one was kind of weird. What should we do with the window and what should we do with the money we have? So, anyways, that's it for today's episode. If you did enjoy it, a like, greatly appreciate it. As always, guys, thank you for your continued support. Really appreciate it. I will catch you all again at 4 PM UK time tomorrow for another video. See you all then. Adios.